I want to make a video on a particular manoeuvre and the varieties of this particular manoeuvre. So I understand why a lot of people dislike my videos. Generally speaking, they dislike my videos because I point out the obvious, and I do a thing called contrasting. I show you what I do and what I know, and I describe or talk about the things that other window cleaners on YouTube talk about and advise you to do, and there's a huge contrast and differences, and the end result is I get to work a lot quicker. My results are higher quality. I get to work less hard for it, and obviously, you know, that's the truth. It's factual information, and it's very annoying, especially for the people who have a large following. You know, I'm highlighting what they're doing and what they're talking about over the years. It's they take it personally. Now, the people who work on my estate, they all work longer, harder, slower, and get less results as well. In fact, they work even harder, longer, and slower than the people who I talk about on YouTube, and they all work one-handed. They've all got aching shoulders. They've all been doing it for like 20 plus years. And they all don't adapt and evolve and become better at their jobs. They just steadily become worse, and they're ruining one side of their body more than the other. Now, this is just obvious, and it's irritating. I understand that. So, if people generally don't like my videos, put a comment and say, I don't like your videos because, and maybe I should just stop making videos. That's fine by me. I've got plenty of other things that I can be doing that is more, I would say, more worthwhile to me. So I'm going to talk about working on this particular window where the window is wider than it is long. And I'll give you an example. It's variations of a particular move. So I'm going to start off with a demonstration of the minimum move. It's a move that I sort of talked about a lot in the past. It's moving the squeegee the least amount, getting the highest coverage possible on the window, obviously getting zero detailing results as we go. You can do this minimum move with any squeegee as long as the squeegee is wider than half the length of the window you're working on. But we're talking width, not length here. So I can do a minimum move also on this window, but it's a lot harder to do, and we're only going to stick to very basic window cleaning. So one guy made a comment, not on my video, but on someone else's video, saying it doesn't matter how you work, it's the end result that matters, and the end result is always the best thing, because the customer wants high quality window cleaning done, and it doesn't matter how to her or to him or to them how that window cleaner performs, as long as the end result is spot on. So he's right, but we're not talking about the customer really. As long as the results are good with however you work, it doesn't really matter to the customer, but to the person doing it, it does matter, I think, because if you can work a lot quicker, a lot smarter, a lot less harder, in a lot less time, and make more money in less time, then would that not be a much more of a benefit for the person doing it? So this is why a lot of window cleaners don't like my videos, because I point out the obvious and I'm highlighting what they're doing and what I'm doing. Generally, not just the big YouTube window cleaners. It's annoying. I understand that. So moving on. What I just did there was the minimum move, and it's a move that requires a lot of accuracy, a lot of precision, using a big squeegee, because I've got less maneuverability with this tool, because it's a bigger tool inside this window. Then I've got to get this squeegee action spot on. That's what I talk about, positioning power. So I'm positioning my squeegee in the right place at the right time, getting that maximum spread, making sure that I'm not going to cause any turn mark here. So if I was going to cause a turn mark, a sharp turn mark, I've rectified that turn mark before that happens. Right, so this is an easy window to work on. So doing the minimum move doesn't always mean I have to do it only one way. before I talk about that, there's lots of window cleaners that do minimum moves, and they do this. What is the difference? The difference is I've got a lot more mistakes that need fixing. And you can use any squeegee, by the way, to do a minimum move. You're just going to get better quality results with an accelerator and a liquidator. So you could have a turn mark here, I've got drag mark here, and I've got closeout mark here. So another thing that I point out is the things that people have said in the past on YouTube, like always close out to the side, or always close out against the frame here, which is always the worst thing you should be doing when it comes to closing out. Always doing one thing only is not a good way of working. Being versatile and adaptable is a better way of working. Now, because I highlight this upsets these people, and it's not about me being personal against them. It's just, if you want to work like that, you're just going to end up working longer, harder, slower, getting less results. And then other people get annoyed because I don't use a wagtail, and I don't use a longer, and I don't use a net array, and I don't use a sawbone. I only use this because it works the best for how I work. And it's not just the tool that's the best, it's my way of working is best for me because I get to clean the window quicker with high quality result. So what that comment from that guy who said, it doesn't matter how you work, if you don't want to earn more money in less time, maybe you're happy with earning less money, or you're happy working longer, harder and slower and getting less results. If you're happy with that, that's fine. I'm just here to teach people how to work a little bit smarter, and if nobody likes it, that's fine. I won't be making any more videos. So please let me know if that's the case. Right, working on this minimum move doesn't mean you've got to always do it the same way, because this window might be a tricky window, so I can't come up like this. So straight away I'm getting less results, so I'm going to use a different starting procedure. Make sure that there's no water there or solution left behind. Close out. Zero detailing, minimum move, but you know, I did it slightly differently. Sometimes when you're doing a minimum move, like just there for example, I've made a mistake. Now if I just close out here and left it, then I'm going to have to fix that mistake. But now I'm coming around, I know there's a mistake there, I'm going to climb up here, close out, fix it, job's done. I've moved slightly longer, but I've fixed those mistakes and I've got the high quality result. I've still done it quicker than using a regular straight pull, fanning movement with a small squeegee. Zero detailing is always the icing on the cake for me. The positioning of the squeegee is more important, which is why you don't really need to use this squeegee to get this positioning power. You can use any squeegee, but you're just going to get the zero detailing when you're using this type of tool. Now, what is the problem with working like that, doing minimum moves? First of all, it's a bit more technical, it's a bit more, you know, you need to be a bit more strategic, let's say, working like that. You've got less movement to make. You've got to try and get it done in one move, so it's harder to do. Not only that, you're like these window cleaners that work on my estate. They only work one-sided, so they've always got aching shoulders. They've been cleaning windows for 10, 15 years longer than me, and they all have one thing in common. They've always got a shoulder that's aching, always. And well, the other thing they've got in common is they work longer, harder, slower, and they get less results. So they've actually got two things that I don't want to be doing. And that's what I'm teaching. I don't want to be doing those two things. So I want to be working two-handed, and I don't want to be doing exactly the same thing all the time. I've got to be versatile and adaptable, but I really want to be getting this window cleaned in the minimal amount of movements. So, if I'm working one-handed all the time, I'm going to have an aching shoulder. If I'm working right-handed, which I always tend to be doing with the squeegee, I'm going to use one side of the rubber more so than the other. Reason being is because it's always buffing up against that frame a lot more than that on that side. So I didn't do a minimum move there. I just wanted to show you that generally speaking, when you're using the squeegee, if you're right-handed, this side of the squeegee will wear out more than this side. So I still want to get these minimum moves, but I want to keep my rubber to wear out evenly, both sides. So what do? I am going to have to adapt and evolve, but I'm still going to be working quick with high quality results. I'm not going to start there, I'm going to start here. I'm going to come down here, I'm going to come around here, I'm going to come around here, and I'm going to close out away from that frame. So I've done a minimum move, but I started it differently and I ended it differently. The benefits of working like this, starting from the middle, is when I'm coming over to my corners, I only have to go there once for that squeegee to perform. Once, close out away from that frame. Now this window is easy to work on, but you do get some windows where there's a bit of friction. So I'll give you an example. Works fine here, works fine here. Coming up here is a little bit of a judder, a little bit of a mistake, and now I'm getting my results a little bit less than what I need to. So let's reset, let's start somewhere different, but still go for that minimum move. Take out all that, come around here. I'm working slightly longer, but I'm still getting that high quality result. Still getting the windows cleaned quicker than any other sort of squeegee method. But it's a variety of minimum moves starting in different places. So there's pros and cons with everything you do in life. I just wanted to show you that if you're being a little bit more adaptable and versatile, the pros will tend to always outshine the negatives. But you obviously got to be set up to do it. You've got to have the right knowledge, the right information, the right soap solution, the right, things have got to be right for things to work perfectly. So, minimum move, you can start in lots of different places. If you want your squeegee rubber to last both sides more evenly, you can always start in the middle like this, which I often do. 6-inch squeegee in there is often the case, depending on the window. This is an easy window to work on, so I don't know if it's on the camera here, but I can easily work with my 16-inch in here. And last but not least, I should mention, this is my most used squeegee. It's a 16-inch. I use it on commercial and residential. Generally speaking, I use a very soft rubber, and this rubber will last me 7 to 10 days per side. And it's my most used squeegee, so it's used, must go through hundreds and if not thousands of windows before it needs switching over and using again for another 7 to so days, and then it's time to change the rubber. Now, I've made videos in the past talking about cutting the rubbers down and reusing them in other channels. That information what I gave is because people were moaning that they were going through all their rubbers so quickly. So to preserve the rubbers, you can cut it down and use it, and I've used it for many years like that. But generally speaking, I've got so much rubber to use, I'll just throw it away and put a new one in. But there are ways of making your rubber last a lot longer. And if you're doing these minimum moves quite often, and you're wearing out one side of the rubber more so than the other, you'll always wear out one side of the rubber more so. If you're right-handed, it will always be this side, and if it's left-handed, it'll always be this side. But generally speaking, doing minimum moves all the time, then you will definitely wear out one side of the rubber more than the other. And I think that's a wrap for this window cleaning video. Hope you've enjoyed it. And if you think I should stop making videos because I'm upsetting too many people, then maybe I should.